Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We are now, let's give it a minute or more for people to join. It's good to see some new faces on here. All right, let's start. It looks like this is it. We are busy recording. If the people jump on now, they can watch the recording for the first few minutes. We're quickly going to go through the step-by-step procedure to register and then what you do after that. I'm going to share screen and quickly show you the link, how it looks like. Here's the page. All right, we're going to go random message who send me a link. Okay. This is how an invite link looks like. So if you're a new person or if you're taking an additional profile for yourself, this is how the link looks like when you receive it. You click on there, on the blue part that's underlined, and you fill out the details. Very important, it must be a new email address that's not been used yet on Gift of Legacy and a username that's not been used yet. So if you mess up a link, get another link from the inviter. Once you're on the board, the first thing that happens is that you're going to have an option to go peek. And then if it's a right board, you join. You click join board. You will be placed in a gifter position, make contact with the legend and do the gifting. Now, most people on here got more than one profile, so you know how that works. Very easy. Now, it's your turn to send out a link. There's a few things that you need to do. The first thing is to make sure that the person that you're sending the link to is saved on your phone. You say hello, and you give your name. I am going to send a link to you. What you do then, on the Gift of Legacy page, now how do I get to that now? There we go. You log in. Let's use this is a niece of mine. The first thing you do is to send a photo of the board so the people can know that it's the right board. With all the little groups that we've got, they know how the board looks like. So you take a screenshot of this board and you send it to the invitee. You then click here on the hamburger thingy and you take a photo of this. There's a username and you can create. I'm going to create a link now. It says created and you say copy. And then the next thing you do is to send out the link to whoever. Let's use that number. You send the link. Easy as that. Now, a lot of people, unfortunately, just send the link out, which causes total chaos. If I ask for links on 7 different boards, and 4 of those 7 got the same builder, how do I know which board is the link coming from? So with the little groups, what you do, what I always say is send me a link so that I can forward it to somebody mentioning the legend's name as well, the username. So apart from the screenshot of the board, apart from the screenshot of your profile to make sure that it's the right profile, I also want to know who the legend is. so we can get the link to the right person. There's no rocket science about this. You may be asked to send out a link from any position on the board. Gifter, bowler, guide, or legend, depending on who needs their twos to be filled. Remember, we're working together as a team. Each little board chat we've got now, got their own little team together. You work on that board. But do bear in mind, a lot of you is sitting on more than one board that we're working on at the same time. The numbers currently that we are working on, we just go open that file. We are working, and I rename a lot of groups. We got 208 submarine boards we're working on, 14 tracks, 7 caravan, 10 cruise, and 2 eagle boards, total of 241. Okay, let's get into the procedure for your little chat group on Telegram. What happens now, you send me the photos and I go check the photos and make sure that we can work on this board. The next step is I forward it to a group where there's a few people in who assist in opening the specific group chat. The only thing that will be in there is a welcome photo of the board. If you send me a photo of the board that I requested, and the 3 members that is on the startup board with the name of the legend as the group name. I get to that group or that little chat group, I open it up, I make sure that the history is visible. With the amount of groups that we're currently opening, Elise sometimes go a bit fast and then the history is not visible. So the first thing I go check is that the history is visible. I then add Liana in the group as well. And I add the legend and any other board members that I know on the board. I will then ask the first person that gets onto that group, because they got access to the board, to start loading the members. Once everybody is on board, we work on the board. If there's 7 people on, all 4 boulders are on, we work with your monthly positions or new people that you invite. If gifter 1 or 3 is open, I will speak to the legend in a private message and ask, do you want to take that position or do we allocate it to somebody else? If the legend don't want the position for themselves, I then allocate that position either to a sponsorship profile that you will see on some of the boards, new sub line, new track line, new cruise line, new caravan line, new eagle line. That is profiles in which we in future will use to sponsor more people on board. And sometimes I do allocate that position then to a person that needs to be sponsored. If boulder number 1 and 3 is open, the legend is going to confirm without receiving the gift. You sponsor that person in. That will trickle up then. If boulder 2 and 4 is open, we will first have to work on the board, getting 1 and 2 and 5 and 6 on the other side full. The number 7 gifter and the number 3 gifter, once they confirmed, which will also most probably be sponsored, will then trickle up to boulder number 2 and boulder number 4. Once you're registered on a board, as we register new invitees, you get added to the little chat group. You will then be asked to send a photo of your information block so that Festina can capture it on my file. We've got a huge amount of outstanding usernames on the file, a huge amount. We are busy working. Yanni forwarded some to us so that you can help. She's very far behind with the capturing. It's a huge amount of people and she started getting behind, so we're helping her now to capture the old ones as well. I can't work on a file if there's a new legend and he's not on the file yet. It's total chaos to go find that person. That's concerning the little chat groups. Very easy, a few basic rules about the chat groups. When I speak to the legend, if there's an open boulder position and they do not want to cooperate with us, I will take every single member on that board and give them another profile on another board. and we will not work on that board. So if there's no cooperation from the legend, we won't cooperate by building on the board. You can go drown somewhere in shallow waters. I will give every single person on that board another profile. I'll sponsor them in. So we want cooperation. If you don't know how to cooperate, there's not going to be joy for you. Once the board is full and it splits off, on the one side, whoever's on that side of the board may leave the group. Once the whole board is finished, usually Liana will say we're done and she will leave the group. Once Liana leaves the little chat group, you are then free to go. Ownership will be handed over to Festina. She will archive the group for future reference if we need it. Now, concerning Telegram, a few notes on Telegram. We've got a lot of groups where there's not enough people in. On the main submarine group, 7 members. A legend group, there's just over 600. On a trading group, there's less than 200. On the motivational group, there's less than 300. Make sure I will post a list of all the possible groups a little bit later. And then make sure you're in all the groups that you need to be. No motivational posts in the mini groups. There's a group for that specifically so that you can post your unicorns and flowers and butterflies. Not in the little groups. I don't think there's many other rules. Be patient with people. There's people working on more than one board. They are not going to get to that board if it's opened in the last 2 days. When they take the next committed position, they may take a position there. It's not a race against time. Work slowly and carefully and we fill the boards. I'll guide you step by step till the board is full. There's a lot of boards with 1 or 2 people open or short, which will close in this week. If you got a monthly committed position and I did not contact you for your placement, send me a message, private message, so that I can make sure to allocate you to a group and then get you on a board. Most people with the monthly positions prefer to work on their own boards. That is your free choice. It's your gift. And you can work on whichever board you want to. There's some boards where nothing is currently happening. We will get to those boards. We've got Seeds of Love on some boards, taking all the builder positions or Auxilio. We will get to that board with sponsorship profiles. We are very close again for all the sponsor profiles to start receiving gifts. We need basically 2 people on 1 bronze board, and then all chaos breaks loose with more money that we can sponsor in. All right, let's just quickly check what's going on in the chat. Guys, total chaos. There's more than 150, Cheryl, that must still be opened, and it's about roughly 30 that I must still put the boarding call on. Elise has been a huge help in opening the groups. And all I do, I allocate the boarding call number, compartment and boarding call number, or deck or station or whatever vehicle it is, and then it's active. People, I am far behind with messages. It's not many messages outstanding, it's just over 300, but I am 5 days behind on some private messages. I will get to all the messages. If your group is not open and you send it more than 7 days ago, send me photos more than 7 days ago, send me a reminder so I can check why it's not opened yet. We still have more than 100 to open. Right, that's all from my side. Let's see if you got any questions. Any questions from anybody before I teach you a little bit more about life? I'm not going to talk alone. Is there no questions?
Morning, Captain.
Morning.
Morning, all. Are these sponsorships for the 8750 or is it for the full 100?
Now, sponsors and
dollars.
profiles work on all the boards. Remember, you're already on the submarine getting sponsored in by with $87.50 from the legend.
Right.
If somebody do not have $12.50, we load them on the submarine,
Mm-hmm.
where the sponsor fund will then give the legend $12.50, and the
Mhm.
legend will sponsor with $87.50. We also have people that we sponsor in on the other vehicles. Liana, one sponsors a profile, sponsored a lot of people in on the tracks. There is a few changes coming soon where we will be more actively involved in the other vehicles. But currently, we frequently sponsor in on some of the other vehicles as well. If I'm in legend on one of the other vehicles, Caravan or Cruise or Eagles or Tracks, I easily give a profile away there. In effect, it's a sponsored profile. So that is $100 profile. On the submarine, the legend already sponsors you know $87.50, but there's a lot of people who don't have $12.50, and then the sponsor fund will put them on board. Does it
Okay.
answer your
Thank you.
question?
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. There's a question here from Captain. Does it mean one has to ask for the board to get any action? And if so, what happens for those who are not asking? What we are currently doing, because a lot of people ask that we work on their boards, and a lot of people work very, very fast. We started with the first ones, compartment 14, and then the open ones on 15, and people asked to work on boards. The next thing I did was to ask people to send me photos where there's boulders short, and then we open a group for that board so that we can get the boulders filled before compression hits them. Then I selected a few boards early on the open ones in compartment 14, Siege of Love, and some other profiles as well to open boards for them. My plan is to have an open chat group for every open board where there's a legend sitting. Now, some people work very fast. We on boarding call 220 some odd on compartment 14. Some people flip their boards. We are currently working on a compartment 19 board where people worked, they put in more than 30 people underneath them and they kept on splitting. So that is then becoming a compartment 19 board. But once everybody who asks for a group got their group, I am going to start at the top of the list, the next open legend, and I will open a group for them. And then it's up to that legend then to get the people on the board together and start working on that board. So I will go down the list. We currently got 1,480 open boards because we're already working on 15 compartments, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So I am going to sit with the Tracks and Cruise and Caravan and Eagle with all those open groups, easily over 1,500 of them. It's going to make my life more difficult to catch up with messages. So if I need to react to somebody in a group, tag me. If I'm not tagging a group, I keep that for later. I go through the tag groups first, and then after that, I'll go to the other messages. A lot of people don't ask for different reasons. Many people are not very active. I did ask for a few photos of, I think, the next 12 boards, which I only received 5. But if I open a group for that legend, when we finish with the current groups that we're opening, I will get them in a group and get a board photo. And then it's up to that legend if they want to work or not. There's various reasons why people don't send in photos. I'm not going to go through a list of reasons. There's another question here. What happened to some of those who brought more than 50 and the positions are still on the same spot? Ask for a board to be a group to be opened, and then we can work on it. Remember, you're working now on your own boards. So if you bring more people, they will push you up. There's a lot of profiles that we moved up to guide position, and some of them now, after the split, moved up to legend. And now they are working on their own boards. The first thing, usually what a clever legend will do in a case like that is to sponsor one position in. It's going to cost you $12.50 for the next version 2 profile. All right, any other questions? Any other questions before I carry on? All right, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is what happens when your board is full and you confirm the last gift. When the last gift is in, you post in the legend group telling me that the last gift is in, can you confirm? I will then confirm or tell you to confirm that last gift and wait for further guidance. We are working on 4 perpetual boards currently. I will then add you in the group on the board that I'm going to load you on. And you will register a version 2 profile with a new email address and a new username. Most people use a V2 behind the, so they don't get confused. Your version 1 profile is going to land currently with the system as it is on a silver board. So you go contact that legend and tell them, sorry, you don't have to say anything about you only received $100. You tell them you don't have $400 to give, remove you. Some people do have the 400 and they can join that silver board because it falls on our lineage boards. Once you remove there, you also can't go to bronze. So on that version 1 profile, you go log in. I will suggest at least once every 14 days to keep it active. Your version 2 profile, when you move through to silver, the first 400 you receive will activate that profile on the silver board. That is as easy as that. There's no science behind the version 2 profile. It's a new email address and put a V2 behind the original username that you used. If you used Buttercup 127 as your first profile, you register version 2 as Buttercup 127 V2. Then you know which one is which. If specifically for the people who've got more than one profile. All right, there's another question. In the instance where one is not able to raise more money and invite fatigue. What do you mean with fatigue? Now, the idea is not to take more spots for yourself. The idea is that you invite. There's a few ways to fill your board. You take a spot for yourself. You sponsor somebody in. We have just under 100 people on the sponsor file currently. We need a few more there for future use. Or you take a position for yourself. If you're not sure what strategy to use on your board, send me a DM and I'll assist you with that. I can't see any reason why people are not willing. People, you're rushing too much when you approach people. I said that a few weeks ago, and I'm going to say it again. If I find somebody at a coffee shop, and it's the 3rd time in 3 or 4 weeks that I find somebody there, I go sit with that person and I introduce myself. I'm not saying anything about gifting or anything about Gift of Legacy. The next time I see that person, I'm going to tell him about gifting economics. Short chat, 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes maximum. The 3rd time that we talk, I'm going to tell him about Gift of Legacy and how easy it is to give money away and in future receive abundantly. I won't sign him up yet. The 4th time I will sign him up. You are rushing too much. That's why you're not getting people to understand what gifting is. Gift of Legacy is understandable for at least 70% of the adult population on this planet. But it is you talking to that person that makes it difficult to understand. Don't rush it. Get to know the person first, then tell him about gifting economics. And after that, you talk to him about Gift of Legacy. That is how easy it is. All right, any more questions? It looks like we're going to finish early today. I can maybe have a little 20-minute nap before the next call. Edith, is all your questions answered now? Or do you have anything more?
Um, good morning, Captain.
Morning, Edith.
I don't have more to say, but it is not a matter of being very fast or anything. It's because people respond because they see activity. When there is no activity, it becomes difficult to bring in people.
What do you mean there's no activity? We're working on more than 200 submarine boards at the same time.
I think that is where the problem is, because like when people say joined in May and they are still on the same position and they are still bringing in people, and you don't see, I mean, you are sponsoring and you don't see them even come to push you up. I don't know. Because there is the
Modern
language
people
of
are too much in a rush. They are too much in a hurry. I think I've got it here somewhere on a file. Let me just see if it's this one. There we go. We are in compartment 14 on the submarine. That means we must load 8,192 people. Compartment 16, we must load 32,768 people. Now, because of short boulders, it's a little bit more than this because the new gifters trickle up to the boulder position. Now, if you get to compartment 18 and we load 131,000 people, it's going to take months to work through that whole compartment. Months and months. But here you can see the amount of boards. We're working on 208 submarine boards. That is a part of more than 100 that must still be opened and about 30 that I must still put boarding calls on. Now, you've been on some boards. Can you honestly tell me that there's no movement?
Yeah, there is. For me, it's I became gifter guide. I think it's guide, and I've been there for the longest I remember, regardless of how many people have sponsored.
Is there a chat group open for that board?
Come again?
Is there a chat group open for that board? Is there a Telegram group open for that board, Edith?
No.
Then you won't have any movement. Send me a photo of a board so we can open up a group for you. Once a group is open, people start working. Of the 208 groups that we're currently working on, plus the new ones that's going to come now to be opened, there's only 20 of them, just maybe 21 of them, where there's no movement yet, and they've been opened in the last 2 days. All the boards that we opened 5 weeks ago got movement on, even if there's only one person on. If you load one person once a month, it takes 8 months to finish that board. If I don't have a chat group open for you, it's just going to sit there. Nobody's going to work.
Okay.
You understand it that way?
No, I don't understand, but it's okay.
The basis is, if you don't let me know that you want to work on your board, I'm not going to open a chat group before we're not finished with opening the current requests. Once we got all the boards open or all the chat groups open of the people who currently requested, then I'm going to go down the list.
Okay.
All right, Rocky, you got your hand up. What question do you have for me?
Yeah, Captain, just a clarification. If I bring in, you're talking about filling the boards with where we sponsor positions, and I'm sure you're aware that I am an ardent member of the Lions Clubs International, and all our clubs are always looking for funds. What I wanted to know from you is if I allocate, let's say, 10 positions across all my boards for Lions clubs, that means that I need to run those actual positions. That's correct.
Yeah, except if they're gonna run it, if you manage to give them training, they can take over the profile. You can help them with registration, but if they know how Gift of Legacy works and you gave them some training, let them run their own profiles. But
Okay,
we
cool.
do
Thank
have
you.
instances where there's a lot of people, like Seeds of Love. It's just under 2,000 people. We are now up to 345, I think, on the Seeds of Love profiles. Every one of those people is getting a profile, and they take possession of the profile once they land on a silver board. By that time, Andrew will have them trained. If you want to allocate 10 positions for the Lions Club, there's two options. You manage it for them, or you get them trained so they can manage it themselves. You can help with the registration. And now
Okay,
you're going
I
to tell
like
me that you've got too many profiles to check.
Yeah, no, I'm not fussed about that. It's just obviously to manage those into. I like the Lomax option of going handing them over when they get to silver. I think that's a good option.
Yeah, that is usually by that time you've got them trained. If they on the bronze board start receiving their the first gifts, then you need to train them, because the first 4 you take through to silver, and then you get them on the perpetual bronze, and then you do a handover. It's still a huge amount of training, and I will have to assist Andrew with it. It's 1,900, I think, 1987, 1,987 people, if I remember correctly. The challenge we've got then of training them, we'll get them in little groups. Use the first 8 or first 16 at a time and train them. The advantage you've got, they're also going to clone themselves. If they receive on the 3rd bronze board, they're going to take another profile at the bottom. But by that time, they're already in possession of the profile and they're fully trained. So I think that is the best option. I've got many profiles that are open for charities and non-profit organizations, where I assist them. They log in once every 2 weeks, but I assist them. When there's a gifted landing, I assist them. If they move to the next board, I assist them. That is why we are here, is to help people and make them fully functional on Gift of Legacy. You must always remember, gifting is not something that a lot of people is used to. It's a new type of economy. So it's not only the training of the system, they must understand the reasoning behind gifting. And that's your work as an inviter to get them at that point where they can manage their own profiles. You have another question for me?
Yeah, just really just a comment is that obviously when I bring in Lions Club as an entity, they've all got members in the club. So once they understand the power of gifting, they themselves as members will potentially join as well, which will expand the whole submarine base going forward.
Yeah. Once if you have 10 Lion Club profiles and they move up the boards, whoever is going to take over the management of that profile can then from the Lions Club itself get members for their invitees. It's the same with there's a place, who was this? Kana Foundation. I think they've got 27 profiles in total. They've got 17 different departments. They get people together for me on Sunday afternoons, and I go chat to them. They find their own people. I assist them with signing up and giving some training, and then obviously if they need assistance, send a message, I'll help them. So it's a continuous cycle of training and educating people. And every time there's a little change, like with compression now, we're in phase 2. Phase 3, there's going to be more boards compressed. Even the people that's got one profile on from the start, that signed up shortly after 10 January. It's a continuous training process. If there's a change, if there's a compression happening, you must tell them what to do. If you need to be, let them send you a photo of the board and tell them this is how you can get the boulders filled, or the system filled, maybe a short or missing boulder. It's continuous training. Continuous training. Yeah, Cheryl say, yeah, I see many little satellite training facilities opening in little rural communities. Yeah, people start understanding. Give the legacy out to the people. Zed, we've got 1.5 minutes left. You got your hand up.
I just want to say to everybody, remember Captain said, if you've got people and they don't understand and you do not have the right words to explain to the people, get them together. Captain will do a Zoom to explain it. He is prepared to go more than that extra mile. So for that Lions Club, get the people together, let Captain do an introduction and an explanation, and they all will join up.
Yeah, you can do that as well. But we're out of time. Unmute yourself, shout bye. See you at 1 o'clock. Recording will be up in 20 to 25 minutes, depending on how fast it uploads.
Thank you,
Goodbye,
Captain.
everybody.
Cheers,
Bye,
everybody.
Captain.
Bye. Cheerio.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.